Three, 2, 1. Welcome everybody back to the Built Different podcast. This is episode 17 of Gold Rush. I'm here with Bill the Thrill hollering as usual. Dom Boy, the biggest boy under the sun. Pause, I probably shouldn't have said that. But we're here. Cut. So, week one, the Chiefs lost at home. Burrow got paid and looks atrocious. Rodgers is dead. But hey, the Eagles, Browns, and Dolphins all won.
Big dubs.
Yeah, that's cool. We're all winners up here. We're feeling good. We're winners. But besides football, how we doing? How's life? How you guys doing?
Life's good. Life's good, brother. Yeah. I golfed 2 times last week. I'm good, bro.
Dom the golfer.
I'm the golfer.
Yeah. How'd you hit?
I won. Won money. Under a 90, bro. That's all that matters. Like 80.
Beat a whole bunch of colonials.
Yeah, colonials would be another word to say. Yeah.
All right, well, what you drinking on today, Bill?
Sipping on the C4 this morning.
I've never had C4.
It's great. It is the only thing that fires me up now.
It just sounds like,
treacherous, right?
Yeah, it just sounds dangerous.
It's like a heart attack in a can.
For real, the first time my girl drank this, she got like the tingles in her fingers, like if you take too much pre-workout. And
starts shooting web out.
And she's like, she thought she was having an allergic reaction. So
damn,
it clearly works. But typically,
that's exactly what it's meant for.
It will keep you alert. Just might do little.
I'm glad you're alert today, Bill. Lock in. Let's go. Love it. But to dig right into some headlines, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like we should start this. Get the sadness out the way.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers, 3 plays, 1 incomplete pass. So he's going to be 0-1 for the year. Got sacked. Got crushed. It was sad.
Yeah. Just to immediately add a little, silver lining to this, we will go on knowing that Josh Allen completed more passes to the Jets this year than Aaron Rodgers did.
Yep.
So, there are some silver linings here. It's terrible for Aaron Rodgers. I hate that, especially after Hard Knocks actually builds America up to like this guy. He was kind of a hateable figure until that spotlight got on him. And then everybody falls in love with him a little bit, and then pow, just couldn't be much of a worse beat than him going down in the first
drive. Yeah. And it's so funny. The other silver lining about it is, too, there's a bar in Milwaukee that actually was like, okay, boom. So if the Packers don't play and the Jets are playing, and the Jets lose, the whole restaurant takes care of your tab. But if the Jets win, you have to pay your tab. Right? So I'm sure
I'm sure when Aaron Rodgers went down, they were probably all running
and shit like, let's go. And then they lost.
They were all just
sweating. You're not wrong at all. There's actually, the news went to that bar and recorded people's faces like as the Jets are coming back and winning it in overtime. As Gibson's running that punt return back, there are people there just like,
that restaurant,
like Buffalo,
they just had the best month they've ever had.
But back to Aaron Rodgers, I just think what he means to that football team and just what he means to this, to the league.
To the league, tough,
bro. And on 9/11, and damn, it was just super tough.
Yeah, I mean, because last year in the offseason, I was very uninterested in Aaron Rodgers. Then he went to the Jets. Then he started being himself, which I loved, because I felt like in Green Bay towards the end, like the last 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah, he was still at an MVP level, but you could tell he was starting to fucking hate football, or at least hate Green Bay at the very least. And, the media started ripping him apart. And then he comes to the Jets. Everything, it felt good. He was doing all the interviews before the game. He was running on the field with the American flag. I was pumped for it. Yeah. I was like,
Justin Timberlake was there.
I don't know what was going to come of this, but I was really excited to see the Jets were finally not toxic for 3 plays.
Yep.
That's how long it lasted. Yep. I mean, they won the game, but it's Zach Wilson's time again.
Yeah. So, couple weird things about the whole situation. Did you see the block that kind of caused this injury from Dwayne Brown?
Like a cut block, right?
So it was a cut block, which typically means it's supposed to be a quick pass. You're not going to throw that type of block if you're a good pass blocker, which Dwayne Brown is. He gave up 1 sack all year last year. Gave up 1 this year so far, but damn, it was an important one.
Right.
Dwayne Brown knows what he's doing to throw that cut block. There's clearly a miscommunication there. So now I think we really are left to wonder if Aaron Rodgers wasn't aware that was happening, if that was a coaching decision that Aaron Rodgers wasn't on board with. Because if that's the case, Aaron Rodgers isn't the guy to hide that for very long.
Aaron Rodgers did mention that he doesn't like those plays as well. Like, he says he's not a big fan of those
Quick passes.
quick pass. Like,
Yeah.
In the formation that it was ran in.
Right. So
it's tough.
I think we're going to hear a lot more about that if that was the case, right?
And also at the same time, like with it being an Achilles injury, it is just like a freak injury.
It
it was a pretty normal tackle. It wasn't like, he fell down and like someone's body fell on his leg and it got all twisted and everything.
It was a little bit. He was carrying a little of the weight.
Oh,
of him,
yeah,
but
for
that's
sure,
normal
for sure,
football
for
tackle,
sure.
right? And like you can't eliminate that from the game. We haven't figured out how to do that. That's not really possible. So now, do we have Zach Wilson for the rest of the year, or are they going to pursue somebody else?
I think they're gonna do Zach, but if I were them, I would get Jacoby Brissett.
That's where I'm at too.
If I were them, I'd try to get Malik Willis, or I would try to get Will Levis.
I want,
or Jameis Winston.
I don't want any of them. I want someone like, kill me, like Andy Dalton, Joe Flacco. I want someone that's just gonna throw the ball, that isn't gonna do too much. Just get the ball to your amazing team.
I think Jacoby Brissett's like the guy. Because he was in Cleveland last year, bro.
Yeah, he did his thing.
I think there was never game. There was like rarely any games where I was like, wow, Jacoby lost. It might be one or two.
And that's all they need.
And that's all they need.
That's fair.
Like he was solid. Like Amari Cooper had a 1,000 yard season with Jacoby Brissett. Majority of the year. Like he was like, again, I watched every game last year, and I think Jacoby is super solid, and I think they should try to get Jacoby, but. Honestly, bro, if I'm them, it's like, okay, we go 1-16, then you get Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, man.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. That defense is too good to lose 16 games.
Well, no, I know it's not. Well, but that's the thing. But Zach Wilson's that bad that you could lose 16 games, and Tim Boyle's worse than him.
You draw it up just to throw a lot, sure, yes.
Yeah.
But the coaches are coaching for their lives. All these players are playing for their lives. It would have to be by pure design, and nobody's ever tanked that.
Well, no, I don't think they're gonna tank. No, I don't think they're gonna tank. I just think that they play the Cowboys.
I don't know.
I have a tough schedule,
and then they play Pats, and then they play the Dolphins, and then they play the Bills again, and then they.
So that the Zach Wilson's
Ravens.
confidence is fried at that point.
Yeah.
Like he's done at that point. But they have Breece Hall. If Breece Hall stays healthy, they could be above 500. Yeah. They could be a 9-8 team against anybody.
Yeah, they got to be the 85 Bears for sure.
I mean,
which they said they can be.
Right.
DJ Reed came out and said he wants to be better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to sit here and believe in Zach Wilson, but I think especially now, if you're going to have Aaron Rodgers on the sideline,
right.
In some capacity, I doubt Aaron Rodgers is just going to sit at home this whole season. I bet he's probably going to be on the sideline with, the mic with the coaches, like how normal, either backup quarterbacks are that possibly, are good. I think he's going to be in Zach Wilson's ear. I think he's going to at least manage Zach Wilson to the finish line. Don't know if it's a playoff team, but I don't think it's going to be an absolute 1-16.
No, I don't think so either. But
like Bill said, the defense is too good, and I think even their offense is good. I mean, he just has to lock in, with his receivers. That's what he didn't do last year. He didn't lock in with his key receivers. I think if he does, he just got to lock in. That's literally Zach Wilson's issue is he just needs to fucking focus. He just needs to focus and stop being a dick.
Right. I think, and I think that. Honestly, the way he was throwing the football looked better than last year. I think Aaron Rodgers helped him with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll see.
He finished with a better quarterback rating than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, amongst other players. Right. So, hey, there's a chance.
And that's another take that I had is that all the quarterbacks that got paid this offseason stink. I mean, you can say what you want. Jalen Hurts probably had the best game out of the 5. And maybe Lamar Jackson, he had a decent game, but they didn't have a spectacular game. Joe Burrow had a horrible game. Yeah. Daniel Jones had a horrible game.
Yeah. I think it was rated. I think all those games were in except for Baltimore, all those games were in bad weather. So I'll give him to this one.
we'll get to the Joe Burrow point because I feel like we're about to have a great conversation.
You can talk bad weather all you want, but the players on the other side of the ball all did fine. I mean, Stroud didn't. Stroud looked okay. I'm not gonna knock him, but Lamar didn't look bad. I wouldn't say it was bad. It just wasn't great either. Right. Zay Flowers looked good. So it's looking like they might have receivers all of a sudden.
I just don't believe in Todd Monken, their offensive coordinator. He was at Cleveland first year Odell was there.
Yeah.
And it just was like off. I don't know. We'll see. That
Yeah.
defense is good. Roquan Smith's a dog.
But yeah, I mean, to conclude the Aaron Rodgers thing, it sucks. He's 40 now, right? Or is he still 39?
39.
He's 39. It's gonna be tough for him to come back from this and still be Aaron Rodgers.
He will be back though.
Oh yeah,
he will be back.
Yeah, he has to be. I mean, there's no way Aaron Rodgers of all people is going to end his career this way. I'm not saying he's Kobe Bryant, but he's got that Kobe Bryant in him that even if he comes back and he's not himself, he'll at least give it one more shot.
I think he'll be himself. And
that's another reason why I think the Jets shouldn't tank or give this year up. I think the Jets got to do everything that they can to keep their key players happy, and that's not named Zach Wilson. I mean, their receiving core, their running backs, their defense. Just keep them happy. I think that's got to be goal number one, win or lose, because if you can get Aaron Rodgers back next year with a full gas tank trying to prove something, I think that whole team will rally around that, and we could even be talking about a Jets Super Bowl next year. Just off of that. Because NFL is very story-ridden.
Yeah.
Once there's a story, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's fixed.
The script.
It's the script.
Right. There's plenty of story. It's just they needed to get used to the Aaron Rodgers offense.
Of course.
And that's why I don't think it's going to be a Super Bowl run next year. I think they need that playoff experience that they're not going to get this year.
Never know.
And I think too,
if they make it in the playoffs, they're losing the first round.
Of course.
So that's not enough playoff.
But that'll be
experience
atmosphere at least.
Sure,
because they'll be facing a good AFC team if they get it.
But when I talk Super Bowl run, that's not it. That they need a game or two with Rodgers, and they're not going to get that.
If they're fourth in that division, that means that they'll have an easier schedule next year.
Yeah,
with Aaron, and I think too, having Aaron not getting those hits for a whole year could only extend his career, not shorten it.
I don't know. I still don't think they'll finish fourth because the Patriots, the Eagles had every reason to lose that game, and we'll talk about that. Yeah. And the Patriots still couldn't pull it out. But regardless, moving on. So, damn, the Ravens. It's crazy that we were kind of talking about it last episode with Dobbins. He also tore his Achilles, did he?
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. So wow, we had 2 Achilles tears. So he's done for the year as well. So that kind of takes a big chunk out of the Ravens game coming from their running. How do you guys feel about that one?
Yeah, I mean, as a Browns fan, that defense is legit, but offensively, like I was saying, there's a lot of questions. Yeah. Also, I'm a big Odell guy.
Yeah.
Both my Browns jerseys are Odell jerseys, and it's like I'm watching the game. It's like you pay this man $15 million or whatever the contract is, and he has 3 targets, 2 receptions. You gotta find him the football. That's I understand Zay Flowers and stuff, but it's and Mark Andrews didn't play either, so we don't really know what the offense is supposed to look like. But it didn't look the best, but I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. I think, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill might not be the answer, and I don't know if Melvin Gordon is either. They're comfortable with the running backs that are on the roster.
Yeah, they stink. All those stink.
I'm shocked if they're not at least talking to the Colts. Just a little bit. And seeing if they're interested.
I like Kareem Hunt.
I think Kareem
Hunt. For the Ravens, I think he fits perfectly.
I think JT's coming back week 5 and playing for the Colts and going from there. If anything, they play out this year, and Jacobs and Saquon are both on 1-year deals. And I know Saquon loves to play with Odell, and Odell wants to go back. It depends on how this. I'm just saying, depending on how things go, both Saquon and Josh are on their 1-year deal. JT, JT can't be a free agent, but Saquon wants to go anywhere. Baltimore's a good location with him, Lamar and Odell. That'd be okay.
That would be a wild offense.
Yeah,
and I think my opinion here is that if they really want to be run heavy, they can just choose Lamar.
But they don't. That's the thing. They want to pass it.
That's not going to be Todd Monken's offense.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. The reason why I don't think the Dobbins injury hurts. Well, I'm not saying Dobbins is trash by any means, but I don't think it'll affect them that much because, like you guys said, they're aiming to be pass heavy this year. And then at the same time, if they really did want to be run heavy, they can always just fall back on Lamar's legs at the end of the day. So moving on, Chris Jones. He re-signed on a 1-year deal with the Chiefs.
Right.
So my question to you guys is, does he still have to miss the 4 games? Or is he eligible to be back now?
Yeah, he's...
Because I thought they put him on the inactive list.
No, I didn't see him go on the PUP list.
Okay, cool.
So he should be ready to fire away. He has to, in fact, because the way they design the contract is he has to play the rest of the season essentially to make up for the game and the weeks that he missed. So he has every opportunity to do that. Every dollar that he's been fined is written into that contract and bonuses. So he'll make up for it. They made him happy. It's a player-friendly deal, but it's also quite team-friendly. He's got to do some crazy shit in order to really maximize that contract. Defensive Player of the Year, win a Super Bowl. So, I like the deal. I think it works for both sides, and it was very clear that they needed him during that Lions game.
Yeah. Right. I honestly think if he's on the field, it being a 1-point game probably goes the other way. And on top of that, I like that he was at the game. He was in the stands. He wasn't saying "fuck the Chiefs" because you guys didn't pay me. He was there. He was locked in with them, albeit from the stands. But I think this is huge. The Chiefs need it. They didn't look their best week 1. I think they're going to need their defense in a lot of games because Mahomes doesn't have the receivers. I mean, I don't care what quarterback you are. It's going to be tough when you have your best wide receiver, Kadarius Toney, literally missing wide open targets. So their defense is going to have to make up for a lot that the offense doesn't do. So I absolutely love that he's going to be back and he's going to be back this early.
Yeah, I think it's his last season with the Chiefs, though.
Absolutely,
I agree with that.
And there's been a team that's moving around cap space to get a big name guy, and I think that team will get Chris Jones by the end of the year. Well, not by the end of the year, but for next year.
Who we got?
My Browns. Browns have cleared a hell of a
that
lot.
would be nasty.
The Browns have cleared a lot.
You guys already got a lot. Leave them alone.
We've cleared close to like $30 million in cap space, and we don't know why we did it. Like fans don't know why we did it, but we restructured so many different contracts. So
I like that you guys did it though, because it's like you guys got Deshaun Watson. You're finally gonna get to see what you guys can be with a full year of him.
Right.
So I think you just use that money to fill in whatever holes there's gonna be. I really love the Browns team this year.
Yeah,
like I'm actually I really love it.
Yeah.
So that'll probably just be any missing piece that you guys need.
Exactly.
And it might be Chris Jones.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know if there's anything missing on that defense. That defense is nuts.
I know.
But
it can never hurt.
Yeah.
Adding Chris Jones, right. But it was good to see Chris Jones.
Absolutely. So Cooper Krupp is hurt again.
No news there.
He's expected to miss the first 4 weeks officially. Yeah. He's actually seeing a specialist, which is not good news because they have no idea what's going on with his hamstring. They just know it's broken, basically. So he's not going to touch the field for a few weeks. It sucks because it looks like Stafford seems better than I thought he would be with the receiving with the receiving core that he has.
A healthy Stafford is still a good quarterback.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look what he did. Aside from having Calvin Johnson, he didn't have a ton in Detroit his whole career. So he's used to this. It's just he's also old now.
He's just like, gosh, shit. Here we go again.
Exciting news on Stafford. We're gonna see him on season 2 of Quarterbacks on Netflix.
Yeah. I love that. We gotta get Stafford, Jared Goff, and Zach Wilson, bro. We gotta get those 3, and I'll be here with the popcorn, with the blunt. I'll love that. But yeah, so Cooper Kupp is hurt. Sucks for the Rams because their defense looks better than we thought.
Yeah.
They seem, they seem a little locked in. Aaron Donald actually seems pretty motivated, which is nothing that I expected. Yeah. And now Kupp is down, but Stafford seems good, so it's a tough position to be in for the Rams.
What's cool about it is it gives these young guys a lot more opportunity. You're not going to see Puka Nacua getting nearly as many targets and catches as he got in week 1, and that can be a momentum shift for that guy's career. So, absolutely. There are some silver linings here. They escape with a win. So, if they can win games without Kupp, then Kupp coming back becomes a whole lot more likely. So they get one more, then Kupp is going to be highly motivated to come back.
Yes.
Problem is, I don't know if they get one more. We'll find out very soon.
Absolutely. You got anything to add to that?
I got.
It's just sad.
Cooper Kupp on my team, bro.
Yeah.
I wanted Tyreek and got auto drafted.
That's crazy because if you would have gotten Tyreek, whoo. But all right, so moving on, let's dig in. I think this is a segment I've been looking forward to all week since it happened. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, that's going to be our big main segment of the week. So why don't you start us off, Bill? Why don't we talk about it? So Joe Burrow does bad 80-something yards, less than 50%.
The main point I want to drive home here is I told you. That's it. Joe Burrow just isn't that good. He's going to have stinkers. He's good. He's not that good. He's not face of the NFL good. And he really drove that home here. He did nothing. And meanwhile, Deshaun Watson was slinging it pretty well on the other side.
Okay.
There was weather.
Right.
I'm not going to say he should have had 466 yards. See what I did there?
Oh, fuck.
So, but he should have had 100. Zach Wilson did better than this. So, I just have nothing to say good about Joe Burrow's game.
Well, I will say this because I feel like I'm in the middle here. Because I feel like you're saying Joe Burrow's really, really good, and you're saying he really, really stinks.
I'm not saying, just to be clear, I don't think he actually stinks. He's not a top 5 quarterback.
Okay. And you think he's the top 5 quarterback?
He's top 3 quarterback.
Okay, right. So what I will say is this: one,
You said top 2. Just
one.
I put him third.
Okay.
One. He thinks Tua is better, and every Dolphin fan thinks Tua is better. So that's that, and they have all the argument. Week 1, they have the argument.
And I love Tua. Tua's a very good guy.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's nice to see a good guy doing good things.
That's
fine.
fine.
I love Tua.
But me personally, I have Joe Burrow too as well. Even though he's never beaten even though he's 1-5 against the Browns, I don't think like the way you feel about Joe Burrow is the way I feel about Josh Allen.
The way that Bill also feels about Josh Allen.
Yeah, like I just think Josh Allen is just actually like.
Well, I thought it was
incompetent
weird because fucking last year, Bill called Josh Allen absolutely fucking dying last year. Like falling on his face and being terrible, and then he called it all.
Josh Allen just loses his team games, and he did that again week 1 this year.
He stinks.
But
I gotta get you a shirt.
Like, he stinks. Like, there's a lot of quarterbacks I'd rather have. Like I'd rather have Lamar. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. I'd rather have Herbert. I'd rather have T-Law. I'd rather have Burrow. I'd rather have Tua all over Josh Allen currently right now. But I'll say this too, man. You can't overreact with week 1. Joe Burrow. It was a monsoon out there.
Yeah,
Zach Taylor's not that good. I think he stinks. And that O-line is horrendous. And he's never played good against the Browns. And I think it's more credit to the Browns defense than Joe Burrow, actually. Because the corners was locking those bum-ass dudes up. That awful offensive line is awful. It was a monsoon. They can't run the football. The team's like, it's not like, they don't put no fear in my heart. Like, as a Browns fan, bro, they've never put fear in my heart. And Joey B's never put fear in my heart. But the Ravens, like, he kills the Ravens. So let's see week 2.
But the Ravens?
Yeah.
Like, he kills the Ravens every year. So let's see week 2.
And he had it against the Chiefs as well. But the thing is, it's been his defense. For the most part, when they're winning, they've had a great defense.
An okay defense. It's okay.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow's been to the Super Bowl, bro. So it's like
the only quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
He has Mahomes.
He has to be 2. That's what I'm saying. He has to be 2 because he's beaten Mahomes multiple times. I get it. The defense has scored more points in the playoffs in the fourth quarter than Burrow has.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Right? But
And Burrow also got injured in that fourth quarter against the Rams. It could have been a lot different.
I respect
he was
Burrow.
he was handed chance after chance after chance in that Super Bowl, but he just couldn't do it because he was dead.
It's a long season, man. You got to be ready for that. And he's.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you're calling that not being able to finish because he's hurt, that's not the first time that's happened, and that's a knock on Tua as well. I can't.
I was gonna say
that's what I'm saying.
Tua can't even sniff week 9.
But I can't put Tua over Burrow just because Burrow has just done more in the league, bro. Simple as that.
What I really
in both their careers.
And like Jalen Hurts, I could put Jalen Hurts at 2 if I really want to, but I need to see one more year.
I got him at 4.
But like, there's an argument for Hurts to be better than Joe Burrow as well too. So
Jalen Hurts had a far better Super Bowl than Joe Burrow had.
Yeah,
far
for
better
sure.
than a lot of people.
It's the best
one of the best
effort, period.
Yeah.
But
right.
So I really like that Joe Burrow isn't making excuses. Because, let's be honest, he had every fucking excuse for this game. I know
what excuse do you have for 82 yards?
Okay, well, the weather sucked. He had no real training camp. He was hurt. The Browns' defense is fucking phenomenal. He's 1-5 against the Browns to begin with. The team that's beat him most. They're in Cleveland. Yeah. Again, he's still recovering from injury. There was every excuse in the world. He just took it on the chin. Yeah. He's a true leader, and that's what I think I love most about Joe Burrow. Right. Is he just took it on the chin. He could have went up into the media and been like, yeah, I just was just feeling a little rusty. We'll see how week 2 goes.
Yeah.
But no, he was just like,
they played.
Browns were better.
Yeah,
They kicked my ass.
Yeah.
And he's moving on. And that was his first game in his entire career that he had under 100 throwing yards. First game.
Yeah.
First game.
Yeah, I don't want to overact over
I can't sit here and say he's not a top 5 quarterback. Because
like we said,
that's
too much.
He's carried the Bengals to the Super Bowl.
Who is top 5?
So we did this. So, forgive me if I go back on my own order here. But Mahomes, Tua, Lamar, Josh Allen, I do have in the top 5.
And you had Hurts at 5.
And I had Hurts, yeah. I can't put him ahead of any of those guys. If you're calling that one Super Bowl appearance, his saving grace,
I'm not even calling that.
But it's not even.
Tua can't be top 5 with no playoff win. He has no playoff win.
I got this, bro. But so the reason why
he's got a better record than any of those.
I get that, but he doesn't have a playoff win.
But that's what I mean. He's the only one that's been able to get by Mahomes out of these quarterbacks.
Like screw Mahomes. Tua doesn't have a playoff win yet, so he's not top 5. He's a top 10 quarterback. Like he could be 6. He's not 5 though. I have to put
He's a
Josh.
better talent than Joe Burrow is.
And with Joe Burrow,
but it's like I care about winning.
And if Joe Burrow has had an O-line,
availability,
imagine how much better Joe Burrow looks with an O-line. He's still giving you a couple 4,000-yard seasons.
So availability wise, Tua's only missed like 4 more games than Joe Burrow has.
I get it.
It's not that much different. They started at the same time. Right. And Tua started late. Actually, I believe he's missed less. He just didn't start at the beginning of his own season.
Right.
So availability-wise, you can't say Joe Burrow is better because he's missed more.
Well, I'm not saying that he's better because of availability. I'm saying it because he's won playoff games.
But
he showed me.
I hear
get
you.
it?
He consistently leads this team to victory.
He's shown me.
Tua has won not more games, but a higher percentage of games than Joe Burrow has. Tua has less losses than Joe Burrow has.
If Tua goes into the playoffs and goes to the Super Bowl, has a better year than Joe Burrow, wins the division, okay, cool, you have an argument. But right now, like Joe Burrow has won the division twice now.
By the end of this year,
Tua hasn't won the division yet.
Right. He's had a tougher division to win than those years.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So the end of this year is where it changes. That's what I'm saying here. Okay. I'm calling that shot.
I can't shit on
Tua changes the narrative by the end of this year.
Again, you're coming from, he's in my division. He puts no fear in my heart. But I have to respect the guy. I respect the guy, bro. And I respect Tua, too.
Oh, yeah.
I respect both. I respect both. But it's like, Tua has the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
He does.
And he's going to eventually...
Jamar Chase is top 5, but Tyreek is the best.
Yeah.
And also Mike McDaniel is 50 times better of a play caller than Zach Taylor. And the offensive line is 50 times better. And they have a better running game. And they play in better weather. And Tua has everything to be better than Joe Burrow. And I just think Joe Burrow is Tua might be a better thrower than Joe Burrow, but Aaron Rodgers is a better thrower. Aaron Rodgers better thrower than Tom Brady, not better than Tom Brady.
I hear you.
Patrick Mahomes is a better thrower than Tom Brady. When Tom Brady was in the league, he wasn't better than Tom Brady.
There isn't anything that Joe Burrow does as a quarterback that I feel he does better than Tua does. Okay. Aside from a deep ball, he can throw it a little farther.
Okay.
It's not tremendously. Tua can air it out for 50 yards now. He couldn't not that long ago. He hit the gym this year. He can throw it 50 yards now.
Right.
Up from 40 last year. So Tua has that timing and anticipation that's better than I feel anybody in the league. That's it. Okay. I think he is the most accurate passer in the league. And that's why I have him as my number 2 right now.
Okay.
And I think given you have to have the right play calls. You have to.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Bengals are bad at that. I just don't think there's an excuse if you're getting paid $275 million.
I agree with you.
You got to be able to throw it with one leg.
I agree with you.
That's it. I don't think I can use a calf strain as an excuse. I don't think I can use weather as an excuse. 82 yards is abysmal. Tua's never done that in his career. Tua will never do that in his career if he finishes a game, period. So I think that's just an awful, awful way to start off if you're a Bengals fan. And now they don't have as much of a defense. I think Joe Burrow's getting exposed this year.
We'll see. They always start off slow, so we'll see. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be okay.
Hope so, because they're planning on losing Higgins at the end of the year.
And that's a selfish contract, so they're going to lose a lot of people on offense.
It can always be reconstructed.
They'll pay it.
Reconstructed, but I honestly think they should lose a receiver and start working on their own line anyway. I don't care
because they have though.
But they need to work on it more, bro. They need to work on it more. Yeah. Orlando Brown Jr., he was able to stop Myles Garrett. Like, not stop Myles Garrett, but he was actually able to do his job. It's just those other fucking goofballs that they got on the offensive line. You need more than just him. And you gave him a big contract. So, you know, I'm all for Joe Shiesty. I don't give a shit. I'm here. I'm sorry, Bill. We'll argue about this all year long.
We will. And I think it's going to be easier to be on my side of that ball by the end of this year.
Hey, I hope the Browns win the division. I hope Deshaun plays better than Burrow. Like, I hope all this happens, bro. We'll have to see.
I think there's a real chance the Bengals finish third in that division.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, you know, moving on, let's get done with week 1 here. What is your guys' built different takes? So this is a new segment. So basically it's going to be your biggest hot take, your biggest overreaction, if you will. For me, shout out to Jared Goff, man. Come on. I got to get this out of the way. You know, he beat the fucking Chiefs in week 1. Go look at the Lions' schedule. They beat the Seahawks, this Sunday. Yeah. There's a very good chance they're now like 8-0 going into that bye week. Okay. When before I thought it was 6-2 because of the game with the Chiefs, because of the game with the Seahawks. You know, very, a whole bunch of bums. Let's look it up. Hold on.
Okay. They play the Rams?
1 second. So after this, they face the Falcons, the Packers, the Panthers, the Buccaneers, the Ravens. My bad. I think that was the second one that I was considering, not the Seahawks, and then the Raiders before their bye.
Okay. We'll see.
And don't forget, they're gonna get Jamison Williams back, right
around that time frame.
Yeah.
So right after their bye.
Yep. No, it'll be before.
Just a game. He gets one game in before. 6-game suspension.
Yeah. I thought 8 game. My fault.
16. But the Lions, they did their thing. They beat the Chiefs. It was ugly, but they did it.
There are some bright spots.
Absolutely. I think, Gibbs didn't give you the best game, but I think he gave you the game that you kind of wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, with limited work, he looked good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He showed explosiveness. So I like that. Montgomery kind of stepping into that Jamal Williams role. Going to get more work than we expected for fantasy purposes.
Amonra, he fucking scored immediately. Yep. Like, first drive, touchdown.
Right.
And it was epic. I mean, Jared Goff, I think he's gonna silence everybody finally this year. They should already be silenced. But that is my big built different take, is that I think the Lions are gonna go far. I love Jordan Love. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan. Justin Fields, I do think he needs a lot of work, but I still love Justin Fields. I don't think the Vikings are going to be finishing above the Lions. I got the Lions first. I think they're going to contend with a bye. I don't think they'll necessarily get it because the Eagles, 49ers, and Cowboys are there. But, man, the Detroit Lions, the team to watch. Never thought those words would come out of my mouth ever again in my life.
Yeah.
Once that whole shit show ended with Megatron, I thought, it was going to be a very long time, or at least the end. But here they are. They're cooking. They're cooking in Detroit.
They are. I think the defense looked a lot better. Obviously, Kadarius Toney's probably the best player on their defense last week.
Absolutely.
But still, they look better than they had for most of the beginning of last year. They picked up at the end. Running backs look good. Sam Laporta looked good. And rookie tight ends aren't supposed to do that. So that was good to see.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have an offense once Jameson wins.
And those are the games you got to win. The games where the other team literally hands you the game, those are the games you got to win. And the Lions, they've never really been able to do that. Jared Goff, his past, he's blowing a lot of these easy games.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really happy for the guy.
Yeah. I think my hot take, my built different take is the Bills miss the playoffs.
Wow.
And Brandon Staley gets fired by the end of the year. I just think that the Bills don't win the division, and there's a lot of AFC teams that could make it in front of them. So that's just, I think the Browns, Bengals, Ravens can make the playoffs. Dolphins, obviously, I think they win the division.
That's tough.
I think the Jags, obviously, Chargers potentially make the. I don't know. But I don't think that Buffalo wins the. I know with the Jets being hurt,
That helps them out.
Helps them out, but I just think someone will go in there sneaky.
I feel like Stephon Diggs is gonna explode by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so too.
Either explode for a lot of yards and touchdowns,
just explode as in he's just not.
I think
you can tell he doesn't want to. He does not want to be there anymore, but he's trying. It's like I
just think Josh Allen looked. I think he looked worse than Burrow. Because I just think that he was just so reckless.
Because
turnovers is
and the difference between the two games is the Browns, they were clicking on offense and defense, whereas this was a very winnable game.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers goes down the fourth play and you
their
lose.
tire was flat for the whole first half of the game.
You lose the game. That's awful. Bro.
That first half of the game should have been Bills 20-3.
It should have. And honestly, it was bad. It could have been worse.
Way worse.
Because I just want to highlight one particular play here. It's 3rd and 6. Bills have the ball in Jets territory, well within field goal range. Josh Allen takes off to run. He's got about 2 yards downfield, and he goes to dive over a guy, extend the ball to make it 4th and 3. This guy is reckless. Not just with interceptions and fumbles. He leads the league in turnovers since 2018, and I don't think he's very close.
That's what Baker Mayfield in the league too.
And here's the thing: it could have been so much worse all along too. He's got 51 fumbles over that time. 51 fumbles over that time.
A lot of fumbles.
He's only lost 21 of them. He's got 30 good bounces. And if he doesn't get at least 15 of those, then. This could be a very different Bills team that we're talking about.
Right.
They're really running on fumes and confidence throughout this good run that they've had.
Right.
They've got very stacked teams on defense, but
they miss Brian Daboll. I think they miss Brian Daboll.
They miss him a ton.
Yeah.
They miss him a ton.
Sure.
So without those good bounces, the Bills aren't as good as we've always talked them up to be.
Right.
Josh Allen is nowhere near that top 5.
To it as other people has talked them up to me. I've never thought they were that good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and we as a country essentially seem to think the Bills are the greatest thing.
I
just because I love the Bills jumping through tables, the snow.
Their defense doesn't fear me. Josh Allen doesn't fear me. That's fair.
Yeah, and they almost lost to Skylar Thompson last year.
Bill, what is your Bill different take?
For me, I think this could be the year that we actually find out that Mahomes needs somebody to throw to. It's not really been the case in his whole career. He's been able to get by on just Travis Kelce, and, we don't have him here yet, so we don't know if that's going to fix everything.
Right.
But they looked rough, and Mahomes' magic just doesn't work as well when the other guy's dropping the ball. The guy on the other end is dropping the ball.
Yeah. I like that take. It might. We'll see. Yeah, they should have gotten D-Hop. Should have tried to gotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They had every opportunity to add talent to that room. And
I think they could have gotten away with paying those two guys a little bit less.
Or
just a little bit. Or maybe an extra year, whatever they had to do.
Yeah.
But
force feed one. For a game, force feed Sky Moore, see how that goes.
Yeah.
Force feed MVS, see how that goes. Force feed Justin Ross. Force feed Rashid Ross. Force feed one of them and see if they can handle that. Tony, see if they can handle that. Because obviously Kelsey's going to bring, but if you're just
going to be triple teamed on some of these plays.
If you're just throwing it all over the place, which is cool. But
and this is why it's an overreaction. They have time to do that. They have time to figure that stuff out.
Right.
We don't know if they will. We don't know exactly what this offense is going to look like. We don't know how soon Kelsey's going to be back either. But as we will find all this out, I just think that this is the least talented receiver room that Chiefs team has had while Mahomes has been there. So we're going to find out very quickly if Mahomes can work his magic. And I can't blame him for this loss at all. He had several opportunities where he essentially won that game by getting it directly into Tony's hands, and Tony dropped it. This one's entirely on Tony. He knows that. He deleted social media for that. Fired it back up when the Giants were down 26-0. But still, I can't blame Mahomes yet, but I think he's going to need a little bit more, and I don't think they're going to be able to find it this year.
Yeah, especially we got to consider. I'm not saying Mahomes is injury prone, but he does get injured.
He's banged up.
Those plays, Kelsey, every single team is gonna guard him as closely as they can.
Hasn't ever worked.
And if Mahomes loses confidence in these other guys, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna see him scrambling a lot, running more. I mean, we saw him run a little bit more already in game 1. I don't know. Maybe Mahomes doesn't even last the whole year because like they need to get someone in there.
Yeah.
Like it's just point blank period. They got to get someone in there, scoop somebody up, give somebody a shot, but it's not going to be Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, it's a little early to say I'm concerned on the offensive line as well, but Hutchinson was in on every play. Like, he was rushed all game. And that is how you beat good quarterbacks.
Right.
That you have to have consistent pressure. The Lions had that. I don't know if that's a testament to Aiden Hutchinson yet, or if it's a knock on the Chiefs' offensive line. We have to see another week or two to be able to even get a feel for that. But we will find out soon.
So your team did really good, the Dolphins.
They did.
They completely outgunned the Chargers. Tua, dropped one of the best quotes of all time when they asked him, you have problems underthrowing your receivers, overthrowing. And he said, well, how many yards did he have? Like
466.
He was just like 466. I don't care.
If that's what underthrowing looks like, that's fine by me.
Yeah, 466. Yeah. I don't care. Tyreek Hill goes off. Waddle still has a decent game. I still think we're going to see a lot more of Waddle. I think Waddle's going to have a huge fucking year once teams start guarding Tyreek Hill a little bit better. But it's just crazy because if you don't have the cornerbacks that can keep up, it's literally a Madden game.
Well, that's what I wanted to say about the Chargers, bro. It's like, I don't know. I think the Chargers defense, like Brandon Staley, the reason why I think he'll lose his job is because he's supposed to help fix that defense, and they have so much money in that defense.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they're schemed the right way.
No.
I think my DC, Jim Schwartz, had that defense, it would look completely different.
It would.
Because it's really like, these coordinators are so big into what goes on Sundays. It's night and day. You know what I'm saying? Because we only added 2 more people to that defense.
Yeah.
And it looks like a completely different defense. The Browns defense was horrific last year, and we only gave up 3 points to the Bengals. So it's it was. I just think that there's too much money on that defensive end for. I get it. It's Tyreek Hill, Tua, but
here's the thing.
He's not even open. He's not even. They're not even close to Tyreek. He's wide open. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he caught one of the touchdowns with about this much separation.
Right.
He had maybe 6 inches of separation on the defender, and Tua just lollipopped it right into his breadbasket. That was a perfect throw. If it was an inch lower, that wasn't a touchdown. So, but
lickety split.
It was. Are you talking about that third down? Or are you talking about the
little fade in the end zone?
The fade in the end zone.
Yeah, that third down was nasty. That he had good not even good separation. It was just a perfectly placed ball, perfect throw.
I think it was kind of underthrown. I feel like if he could have thrown a little deeper, it would probably been a touchdown.
He put it where the defender couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
He had a more secure, more likely catch, rather than putting him in stride where it was a little bit easier to defend. I had no problem with that throw. To me, that was perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm a Dolphins fan here, too.
Right.
So before we get too far away from Brandon Staley, the scheme, you can't play man defense one-on-one against Tyreek Hill. That's it.
Well,
you just can't do that.
Yeah. And you can't have no safety over the top.
Right.
And it's on that third down play, Derwin James was just supposed to play the middle with, handling up near the sticks. Because I think it was 3rd and 12, 14, something like that. And didn't even see where Tyreek was. When you play the Dolphins, you have to see exactly where Tyreek's at. 2 or 3 people have to see exactly where Tyreek's at and let Jalen Waddle beat you. And if he beats you, then now you have to have 2 safeties on top. Bill Belichick's not gonna play cover 1 against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He's gonna have 2 safeties at the top, have you beat him in the middle, and all the short routes. That's all it's gonna be.
And make River Craycraft beat you. Make Durham
Braxton
Smythe
Berrios looked good though, but
Yeah, Braxton Berrios,
really
Durham
good.
Smythe. Make these guys beat you. Don't single cover Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. And feel free. Please do.
Right.
Rest of the year.
Yeah, Bill won't be doing that.
So, we're going to find that out on Sunday Night Football, which I'm excited for. But
too.
this is going to be the only time I stand up for Brandon Staley for the entirety of the year. This is it. I'm done after this. But Vic Fangio being the Dolphins defensive coordinator, plus bringing the Chargers defensive coordinator onto their staff as well from last year, they know all the players. They know the strategy. Vic Fangio was Brandon Staley's coach.
I get it.
So he knows what Brandon Staley's about to do, and he helped Tua in that offense a ton to be prepared for that particular defense.
Right.
So that's why you get essentially a career game from Tua, aside from that Ravens game last year.
We'll see Sunday.
We will.
Because they play the Titans. And if the Titans look good,
if they look decent,
like I'm gonna be like, all right, bro, he just stinks, bro. He's awful.
If Ryan Tannehill lights you up for
that's why it's a scary. That's a scary game. That just screams the Chargers are gonna lose. Like the Titans could just run the football.
I have Derrick Henry absolutely obliterating.
Easily. Easily.
Two touchdowns. That's my first bet. Two touchdowns, Derrick Henry.
I like that.
I didn't like Miami's rushing attack against Chargers.
No.
They couldn't run it too much against them. They didn't try that often.
They didn't try that much.
But they didn't have to.
Right.
But when they really felt like they could do whatever they want all day long.
On offense, right.
So I get it why they wouldn't run it more. So I don't know. We'll see. I think the Titans have to run more. They have to.
Right.
That is their offense.
Awful. Yeah.
So we'll find out. I do like Treylon Burks this week. I think Treylon Burks looked better than I expected coming off that injury. So I like him this week. We'll get into that later on. But that's a big matchup to watch.
Yeah,
I think that could have the Titans could sneak their way into that AFC playoff picture given their schedule compared to everybody else's. So
for sure,
that's one to watch.
Absolutely. So some quick hits. What is your guys' last big take from week 1?
My take was, I think everyone's saying about it too, just turf. No more turf. Try to get.
Yeah.
The NFL just makes so much money. And
hope you come back, Aaron Rodgers, please. Yeah. I never thought I needed this Aaron Rodgers Jets run. Now that it's now that we're not gonna get it this year.
Right. Okay.
Now I know it's just like, damn. Now I want it.
Right.
I didn't know I wanted it either. Like as a Dolphins fan, I thought I didn't want it.
Right.
And now I do.
I wanted it too because the Bills definitely weren't making the playoffs with Aaron was staying locked in. If they're not locked in, but healthy.
And he seemed locked in, bro.
Yeah, no,
he ran on the field, the American flag. I was like, I don't know why. I was just like, fucking go Jets. I don't know why. Jets, Jets. Why the fuck not?
Right.
And Zach Wilson.
Right.
Had a full-blown USA chant going on in my living room just by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I was like ready to rip my shirt off on some Hulk Hogan shit. Like, I was there with Aaron Rodgers, and it's just sad. But yeah, I agree. Turf is just, it's, why? You know? Like, why are they still doing it?
Get grass in there.
Also, I feel like every year we've heard someone bitch about the turf. Someone get hurt and someone just bitching.
Right.
But it hasn't been as big of a spotlight as Aaron Rodgers getting hurt 4 snaps into his Jets career.
Right.
So now the NFLPA is really on it, and they made a great point. This is something that they do every time, like, international soccer teams want to come in, international football, sorry for our Belgian viewers. Right. So international soccer teams come in, they just switch that turf out for grass. No questions asked. Every time. Just done deal. Of course we're going to do that. It's better for you. But we don't do it for our own teams.
Right.
It's the same stadiums. So we know it's possible. They just don't do it.
Exactly.
So I think that's something that is going to end pretty
wet
quickly.
Turf too. Like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But also one last thing too. I think preseason is something, but it's not everything. I think, like, people were hyping up the Steelers. Oh my God, the Steelers are here. They're a really good football team.
Man, Kenny Pickett can sure light up these second string defenses.
Stink.
Najee Harris is improved.
They're awful. Matt Canada still is the worst play caller in the NFL. Definitely probably in the AFC. Like it's not everything. But team probably like the Bengals or like a team like the Giants, like they probably needed some reps to get in because they could come sloppy. So it's like, I think you can't take so much from preseason, but you could take a little bit of something from preseason.
Yeah,
like the Browns. Like we played one drive against the Chiefs and we scored. Like
the 49ers smacked the shit out of them.
That's what I'm saying. Man. But they didn't. But they didn't need. None of them did preseason. But when you have a solid O-line, good play callers, good DC, good players.
When you know you're built
when
correctly
you're built correctly for it, then you're fine.
And you have continuity from the last year, right? You're fine.
And the Steelers, they had to do preseason, but we, national media and a bunch of people, not me, were the Steelers are legit, watch out for them. And we'll see on Monday, but I think -2's a God-given gift. Colorado last week was only -2.5. It was
and I feel like with the 49ers, I think they scared the shit out of a lot of people in the league.
Not me. I was expecting that.
Oh no, I was expecting it too. But I'm talking about from those people. The line was at what, -3.
It was minus 3.5.
There was a lot of people that thought it could be close.
No,
whatever.
people thought Steelers would win the
But
game.
McCaffrey ran all over them. They looked like they didn't miss a beat. Purdy looked, he looked decent.
Yeah,
Their defense was, it's the Steelers.
They should have picked
it was
it 3
monstrous.
times. Patrick Peterson is not good. He's not good anymore. The secondary is horrific.
I love Brock Purdy calling that out.
Yeah, bro.
Brock Purdy's becoming a guy.
I like Purdy a lot too.
Yeah, I didn't know he had personality.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Irrelevant we're talking about, and he's coming out calling out Patrick Peterson.
Bro.
It's easy to call out Patrick Peterson at this time, but man, I like.
Well, no, Patrick Peterson started it.
He did.
Yeah.
And I know the Cowboys walked all over the Giants, but the reason why I would give the well-oiled machine award, I don't know why I'm making that up on the spot, but the well-oiled machine award I would give to the 49ers because Dak Prescott, in my opinion, didn't look too great in that 40-0 win. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
but Brock Purdy, I was just like, wow,
Yeah, Brock Purdy, the Niners look the best team in football.
Yeah.
Easily the best team in football.
Easily.
Yeah. But they were the best team. Bro, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt against Philly, it's a...
No.
I don't know.
No, move on.
I wouldn't say they beat you, but it's a complete different
I don't think so, dude.
Completely different
The Eagles were on one, bro. They all took crack before the game. Go back and watch that game. They injured 2 quarterbacks. They were on one that game.
Yeah, they were.
They were really on one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
my final takeaway is I love that Sean Payton had to eat crow this week. Sean Payton,
a 1-point loss to the Raiders.
To Jimmy G, Josh McDaniels, and the Raiders. Yeah. This is one of... so Jimmy G looked fine.
Jimmy G coming to save Josh McDaniels' career?
I think it's because he was up against Sean Payton, who doesn't know how to manage his team.
Yeah.
And I know you have some feelings about how he coached in that game as well.
I don't think he coached bad. I just think he overdid it. He spread the ball way too much. He was just trying to do way too much.
I think he coached bad.
If that's coaching,
he started
bad,
with the onside kick. It's all right, guy,
which
too
almost
much.
Worked. You know what I mean? Way too much.
But I would say this: I think the offense looked actually okay,
decent,
but the defense looked horrific. That defense was bad, bro.
And I think as he I think the Broncos will still be okay.
Yeah, I think the Broncos will be fine.
I think they just gotta get their feet under them again. I think week 2, I think they're gonna win, and I think they'll be fine after this. I'm not saying they're gonna crush the league by any sorts. I just think I'm not gonna buy too much into this week 1 debacle. Losing to the Raiders is tough. That could be a huge in the AFC, if they are looking for the playoffs, that could be a difference maker.
Yeah, I'm not looking too deep into.
They're not sniffing playoffs. I'm not worried about that.
That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee.
That's your first guarantee.
We'll see.
It's a guarantee. I don't know if it's my first, but I know that's a guarantee. They're not getting. I don't think they're. Close is subjective. They might be within 2 games, but they're definitely not making the playoffs. That's my guarantee.
We'll see.
Russell Wilson had a good stat line.
He was good. I think
he was a perfect game manager.
I think Josh McDaniels was we're just gonna run the football, bro. They didn't have that many offensive snaps in Denver.
They had plenty, man. They had 56 plays.
I think Josh Jacobs. Well, I just think the Raiders was able to just kind of hold the football and run the football and run the football again. I don't know.
Yeah, they had 2 more plays than the Raiders did. So it was a balanced game, and Russell Wilson finished 27 of 34 with 2 touchdowns, but 177 yards.
Right.
2 had that on 3 plays, first off, just to bring that back. But here's the thing, Javonte Williams did fine. He had 4 yards carry. But if you take away, they had 5 decent pass plays. You take that away, they average 3.5 yards.
Yeah, they gotta move the
pass play.
Yeah, they gotta get down the field.
Yeah, everything's behind the line of scrimmage.
Dudes are hurt, but
they are. But everybody's talking about Denzel Mims, and he brings his own guys in. Little Jordan Humphrey comes in. It's
you have to force feed Courtland Sutton.
Correct.
This whole throwing, you got to force feed Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, bro.
I know I drafted him in
different receivers. That's why I thought he did too much. You gotta narrow that down. I don't care that Judy's out. You just gotta narrow that down a little bit, make it a little bit more simple. And I think they watched the Raiders.
Yeah.
I just think Sean Payton was just I'm back. Oh my God, so much to do.
Most receptions of that game for the Broncos was Adam Troutman.
Yeah, he was
5.
He was a dog out there. I should pick him up in fantasy too.
But for 34 yards.
Yeah.
So I think that's out of top and steal.
P. Ryan got 4 receptions.
Right. So your Samaje P. Ryan should not be your leading receiver in any circumstance. So I just don't like the way they called the game, and it's the Raiders. It's Josh McDaniels. If you can't outcoach him, good luck.
Right.
Good luck the rest of the way.
My take is, shout out Baker Mayfield. No, wait, no, because we can't do shout out Baker Mayfield because it's shout out Jared Goff. Good shit, Baker Mayfield.
No, shake and bakes.
Shake and bake, Baker Mayfield.
That's my guy. That's my dog.
I fucking love it. I said that they'd win the division. I wasn't too firm on it, but they did look really fucking good because the Vikings are a good team. They were able to beat them. Kirk Cousins even had, in my opinion, he had a good game. He was doing the right things. It just wasn't enough to beat Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I love it because, people got to remember, Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback when he's not, in his head.
Nothing makes me more happy than Baker being successful. I'm like, let's fucking go. Get
Right.
your weight up, little boy.
Right.
Baker Mayfield talking shit, winning football games, actually
amazing.
looking okay.
And in Tampa in that beautiful red jersey.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't draft
here
a
for
single
it.
Buccaneers receiver because I thought they were just going to stink.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that week 1 they looked okay.
I grabbed Mike
Touchdown to
Evans
Mike
late.
Evans. Yeah.
I loved Mike Evans late because he's built for 1,000 yards. He's guaranteed
He's done
1,000
it
yards
the
no
last
matter what.
how many years in a row?
All of them.
Right.
The last all of them. So yeah,
That's all of them.
Baker went 21 to 34 for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Fuck it. That's a winning game.
But he comes out on top, and that's all that matters.
Right.
And the Vikings, which were masters of one-score games last year, find themselves on the other side of the coin.
Yep.
So another question from that, are the Vikings going to regress and lose 13 one-score games this year?
I don't think they'll exactly do that, but I don't think they'll be as good because they've lost the weapons that won them those one-score games. And
It's just Dalvin Cook, right? They haven't lost anything else.
Thielen
was hurt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Addison.
Fair.
Yeah, but they add Addison.
They add Addison. I don't.
But either which way, I do think it's a tough loss for the Vikings because again, you got Jordan Love, which love Jordan Love's game. He threw the hell out of the ball. You got Jordan Love looking like that, and with an easy schedule as well. And you got the Lions looking like beating the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions. Could be tough for the Vikings, and you already got Justin Jefferson upset on the sidelines. It's good.
He was
I don't know.
tight.
It's looking tough for Minnesota, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, big props to Jordan Love. I said it. I'm a huge. I'm not saying like I'm a big diehard fan, but I love Jordan Love. I think
He look good.
He's taking a lot from Aaron Rodgers. He's slinging the ball. The Bears are the Bears, but he's slinging the football.
Yeah.
Love to see it. And that was, you say preseason isn't everything. I say he was doing this in the preseason, man.
Yeah. I'm saying, you can take some things from and take some things out.
Absolutely.
And my takeaway from that game is that I don't think the Bears are going to be very good this year. And everyone
They
kind
already
of
want to get rid of Claypool.
contending for that division, and I don't think so. They said it's a 4-horse race. It's not. The Bears are very much in the race for the number 1 pick again this year.
Wow.
Is my take.
They gotta get generational
It's
defense
O-line.
back
It's
in
just,
there.
they just need O-line.
Yeah.
I think they need a new play caller, but it is what it is.
They gotta get some generational defense back in there. I think that's where they fucked up. They had a generational defense and didn't give a shit about their offense. Now they're trying to work on their offense. They're starting to neglect their defense.
And they trade away their best players.
Yeah.
I mean, they had it with Khalil Mack and they had it with Roquan Smith, and now both are gone and they don't have an identity.
I feel like if they
and
had
Robert Quinn too.
if they had Khalil Mack right now, back when he was in his prime, I mean he's still good, but back when poof.
I mean, they had him in his prime. And
No, I meant back in his prime now while Justin Fields is here.
Yes, that would be crazy.
Looking ahead to week 2, so Philly and Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, they're opening it up tonight actually because we're recording on Thursday. So yeah, Philly and Minnesota. I'll start this off since I'm the Eagles fan. I think the Eagles are going to absolutely bounce the shit out of the Vikings. They play good on prime time. They don't shy away from big moments. I think, especially after the playoff run that they had last year, I don't think it's going to affect them whatsoever. We know who Kirk Cousins is during prime time. We absolutely know who he is.
Say the Vikings at least keep this close. And frankly, I think they have a chance at the upset here. The Eagles looked vulnerable in certain ways. And here's the one that's going to hurt them, the James Bradbury injury.
Yeah, I think the Eagles. I don't know what I'm getting from Minnesota yet, man. I mean, I wouldn't touch the game in general, but yeah, I don't know who's gonna win it, but I think Philly does win it.
What is your guys' game of the week?
For me, I've got Jacksonville versus Kansas City.
Love
I think
it.
we're going to learn a lot about Kansas City,
Yeah.
and we can learn a lot about Jacksonville.
We might
too.
learn a lot about the Jags.
Yeah, so I mean, Jags looked good last week, kind of. I mean, they pulled it together by the end.
It was like
Calvin Ridley is what they want him to be.
Yeah.
I think Christian Kirk has some room to step up. He had, I think, 1 catch last week. Evan Engram has room for improvement, and usually tight ends can perform against Kansas City. We saw Sam Laporta even step up last week. So I think offensively we need to see a lot from Trevor Lawrence, especially earlier on. He pulled it together in the clutch against the Colts, which you didn't think he'd have to, but he did. And then with Mahomes, this Jacksonville defense, Anthony Richardson had his way with for portions of that game. Mahomes should be able to put up a lot of points. I think it could be fireworks, and I think we're going to learn a lot about both teams.
Fair enough.
I think Pats Dolphins is very intriguing.
Spicy game.
It is. Like you said
Unlike what
earlier.
you think, I thought the Pats actually looked okay.
Well,
I think
that's
if you
what
take the
I'm
first
saying.
quarter away, I think the Pats win the game.
But I also think it was more so the Eagles' play calling than it was the Patriots looking good, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Mac Jones did
offensively,
all right.
yeah, but I think Mac did okay though.
Yeah, he did all right, but I think it should have been more so like the Eagles should have probably scored closer to 40 than
You're right,
25
for sure,
or 26.
for
They
sure.
ended up
Rust.
The
Well,
Dolphins try to do some weird shit sometimes where if Bill can take advantage of that, it's going to put him in some serious holes. And when the Dolphins kept going, they were starting 1st and 15, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
They're converting against the
Yeah,
Chargers.
I
That's
think-
not happening against Patriots.
Like I think the Patriots can sneaky win that game, man. It's a sneaky game. Monday Night Football. I think I kind of weirdly like the over too. I don't know what it is, but
Mac Jones looked decent all of a sudden.
Mac Jones
Looked
looked.
like quarterback.
I just think
I always thought he was decent. It's just
Yeah.
he can't stay on the field.
right.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, like I'm saying, Zeke fumbled and shit. Like it was a monsoon as well. It was not good weather.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very sneaky matchup.
Fair.
I'm going down to the city this weekend. It's my great aunt's 100th
And
birthday.
I
My
think
dad's a Dolphins fan. I'm
damn,
watching it.
that's a lot of years.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of
That's
years.
awesome.
Shout out to her.
Shout out.
But yeah, I think it'll tell us a lot about the Dolphins. Like if the Dolphins could come out slinging it against the Patriots, I think we gotta believe the Dolphins as like a real serious
For sure.
contender. I mean, I already believe in the Dolphins as a serious contender, but if they do this to the
Right.
Patriots, then I'm all on board with Miami.
For sure.
But my game of the week, I'm going with the Bengals and the Ravens. You know, Joe Burrow, he didn't do the best. Lamar, he had to shake off a lot of rust before he finally, started getting his rhythm. I mean, it was against the Texans, but I love this game because Joe Burrow needs to get his feet back under him and continue on with the season. Because starting off 0-2 would be really rough for Cincinnati, considering the division that they're in, considering the conference that they're in. And then the Ravens, Lamar, you got your chance right here. Get yourself right back on the map. Because this was the matchup that I said last year. If Lamar Jackson was playing in that game against the Bengals, Lamar Jackson would have been in the fucking Super Bowl.
I think he's going to be motivated for that.
Yeah,
I think for
absolutely.
that very reason, watching Tyler Huntley from the sideline blow that game,
Yeah.
he's going to be
It was a
motivated
one-possession game
possible.
literally almost the whole way through until the very end.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching that game
And
real close.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
think Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to light it up. I know you're probably going to hear me say this every week, that Lamar Jackson's going to light it up. That'll probably be my prediction every week. But I truly think so this week because the Bengals, I think they're scrambling a little bit. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, who is still a little hurt, still a little whatever. We don't know what it was. Was it rust? Was he hurt? Was it the Browns' defense? We don't know what it was. They got the contract disputes. Their defense again. There a lot of shit going on there. And then you just got Lamar sitting back, and they may have lost their running back, but I'm not. I don't know who will win. I think the Ravens should win, but I think we're in for some fucking real fireworks in that game.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'll say it right now. Like I'll own this. I've got the Ravens as the best defense in the league, and I've got Joe Burrow as being not that good. So if Joe Burrow lights him up, I have to.
All right.
No excuses.
So I'll just put that out
Because
there. Plain
I
and
could give
simple.
you an excuse right now that Marlon Humphrey's like not going to be playing. He's hurt.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But that, if they're the best defense, they got a little bit of depth. And I'm not saying that like he won't get 250 yards or something,
Right.
but he shouldn't absolutely light them up. And that defense in Cincinnati looks a little bit susceptible to the pass right now. That's what the Ravens are trying to do. They're missing their safeties. It was pretty clear last week. So, I think they're missing them in the run game and in the pass game. So
Absolutely.
we're going to find out a little bit something about both of those teams, too. I really like that as a good game of the week.
Yeah, I like that.
And honorable mention, I think the game with the most pressure is going to be, you mentioned it, the Titans and the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think both teams 0-1. Both teams are going to want to get that first win of the season, especially the Chargers, because if they are now 0-2, that's going to be a lot of pressure on that coaching staff because they're probably going to need to be like damn near perfect in the next coming weeks. I don't like their schedule in the next coming weeks after that.
No.
So it's honestly,
It's not awful. They get Vikings and then Raiders, but
then
it's
Cowboys, Chiefs, and
Bears. So
Right.
So I honestly almost think it's a must win for the Chargers.
Yeah, team with the most pressure for me is the Chargers.
Yeah. And then the Titans on the other end, they lost a very knucklehead to like I couldn't even like I'm watching the game. It's 2 minutes to go. They only have 2 timeouts, and they kick a field goal. Against the Saints, who are like a first down team. Like if there's a team that I would say is like a team that could generate automatic first downs, it's gonna be the Saints. So I don't know what thought process went into that. It's like 4th and 3. Just give Derrick Henry the ball, throw it to Hopkins, whatever the fuck you got to do. Just don't kick the field goal.
Yeah.
So they're gonna want to win. They're gonna want to get that back in blood. And against the Chargers, they're not gonna want to start off 0-2 either. Because the Jaguars, it seems like if they're gonna win that sloppy game against the Colts, they could come out and win a sloppy game against the Chiefs.
Right.
Now you're down 2 games already to the Jags, and that's hard to come back from. So any other takes from week 2?
There's honestly a lot of lopsided looking contests in week 2.
I like Raiders plus money
Yeah.
because I don't believe in Buffalo yet.
I like Daniel Jones having a big game
I don't.
against the Cardinals.
I don't, and I'll tell you why.
Cardinals defense.
Cardinals, they actually look good. They had 6 sacks last
Fuck
week.
them.
And
They're about to start the tank.
And that
They almost won that
offensive line-
game. That probably scared the shit out of them almost winning that game.
Yeah.
They're
like,
gonna
oh shit!
Whoa,
Caleb Williams is falling through our heads.
that front office is definitely on.
They're probably
eggshells.
going to tell the defense to take a little step
Yeah.
back in that game.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Giants can do it. I actually like the Cardinals to win that game.
Holy shit.
Hey, they might though. I don't want to. Hey, they could do it.
And it sucks because for the Giants, it's like, get a fucking offensive line. Like, this is a team that we were sitting here screaming, like, get an offensive line. And they still didn't do it. And it's like you have a generational running back. You have Daniel Jones, who finally has his...
I feel like you've
appears to
got
have his head out of his
a very
ass.
good head coach. I
Yeah.
think Dable's
He
excellent
won
head
coach of
coach.
the year.
Yeah.
But you can't coach.
You want a playoff game.
It's hard to coach an offense that only has about a second and a half to throw the ball.
Right.
They're just bleeding
Tough.
on that offensive line. So,
Bill's block. Talk to us, Bill.
all right. So we got the first FanDuel lineup of the year here.
Okay.
This is meant for 50-50 contests. Feel free. Definitely throw in the million maker as well. I know I will for $5. Can't go wrong. I have no problem splitting the million with every one of you that follow this advice out there. But
us first.
50-50 is really just looking to double up the cash roll. So starting at quarterback, got Lamar Jackson. Going up against the Bengals. Bengals did look susceptible to everything, really, last week. So Watson in the rain kind of showed what can be done, and in good weather, Lamar should be able to eat. David Montgomery and Travis Etienne are my running backs. Seattle looked pretty bad against Kyron Williams, so I think David Montgomery looked great last week against Chiefs. Chiefs is a tougher defense, so I like him to at least get a touchdown. With 13 points last week, I think he's looking even more this week, which is good for the 6,300. Travis Etienne against Kansas City, again, the Chiefs were bleeding against the running back last week. So Jahmyr Gibbs is more his style. Just if you gave Jahmyr Gibbs what ETN's workload is going to be last week, he was going to go off. Travis Etienne looked great last week as well. I like Treylon Burks against the Chargers. Obviously, the Dolphins showed exactly what can be done against the Chargers. Treylon Burks being the cheap guy, can't go wrong. Robert Woods is subtly the number one in Houston, so him against Indianapolis, where Calvin Ridley ate last week in a similar role. Robert Woods should have a good game this week.
Okay.
Monroe St. Brown coming in my third wide receiver. Him against Seattle, again, I don't think that Seattle defense is quite what they were last year. So, and Monroe is a reception machine, so he should eat. I got Cole Kmet at tight end. Justin Fields loves Cole Kmet, flat out. And I had to go cheap here for what I'm about to do in the flex. But Cole Kmet had 7 targets. 7 targets last week, caught 5 of them. So I like that, and I like him to do good enough. I'm not saying I'm getting a bunch of production from him. Should be good enough is all. I've got Christian McCaffrey against the Rams in my flex. Christian McCaffrey is a must-have in this lineup. I think he's going to be the number 1 scorer in all fantasy football. Tyreek Hill is the only reason he wasn't, I believe, last week. So it's tough not to pick Christian McCaffrey. And I've got that Arizona Cardinals defense up against the Giants. Until the Giants prove me wrong, I'm going to target the hell out of the Giants with team defenses, because Cardinals, 6 sacks last week. They should do at least 4 or 5 again. They're going to be pressuring Daniel Jones on every play. So why not a turnover? Why not a defensive touchdown? So that wraps up Bill's block.
Absolutely. How do you feel?
I like that. And you have Lamar, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think Lamar will give a big bounce back week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. There we go. So moving on to our 5 wins and 5 touchdowns. So the standings right here above everybody's head.
Tough week 1.
Dom is in the lead. He's
Across
at
the board.
3-2 with 1 touchdown scored, and me and Bill are 2-3 with 0 touchdowns scored. So I'll go first. So I got the Packers beating the Falcons. Pretty simple. I think Jordan Love is going to do his thing. The Dolphins, I got them beating the Patriots. I think, even though it's in New England, I just think the Dolphins are going to get it done. I think the offense is really good as long as Tua's there. The Broncos, I'm taking them over the Commanders. I think, I'm not saying week 1 was a fluke for the Broncos, but I don't think they're going to lose to the Commanders. I think they'll get it done. Russell Wilson will probably get 200 yards. Don't bet on it, though.
Definitely don't bet.
I got Dom's team. I got the Browns over the Steelers. For some reason, it's at 2.5. Slam your money on that, because I don't think the Steelers are going to come close. And lastly, I got the Chiefs over the Jaguars. I don't see Mahomes going down, 0-2 this year. I can't. It's just not something that I can picture. I can see very well on paper. I think the Jags can beat the Chiefs, but I don't see it. I can't physically see it.
All right.
So, yeah.
I'm not too against it.
Yeah.
Aside from one place, I do have Commanders over the Broncos. I think Sam Howell looked good last week.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To kick off the season, he looked solid. He gets knocked out of that game, and obviously it's a little different, and then he comes back with a vengeance.
Right.
That team was fired up. That team clearly believes in Sam Howell,
Right.
the way they defended him when he got that late hit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I look for, is a team believing in their young guy.
Right.
So I do have the Commanders there. I've got Dolphins over Pats as well. I won't have to say why there, but I do have Dolphins over Pats.
Homer. No.
I've got Saints over the Panthers. I think Saints are best team in that division. Still, I think the Bucs are the only ones that are really going to give them a run for the money. I think they understand the importance of this game. So I do have the Saints there. I got Ravens over the Bengals. I do think, again, number 1 defense against Joe Burrow. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to be able to do it this year. Lamar should have that bounce back game. I clearly believe in that as I put him in the FanDuel lineup. So I do have Ravens there, and I've got Chargers over the Titans. I think that Chargers offense honestly did look very good. Mm-hmm. For every reason I said that the Dolphins knew how to attack Chargers defense, the Chargers knew how to attack the Dolphins defense as well, because Vic Fangio is Brandon Staley in terms of scheme, but just not doing it quite as well. So Chargers offense might have looked better last week than they're going to the rest of the year. But if they look half as good, they can outscore whatever the Titans are able to put up. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to run very well on the Chargers. So I actually like the Chargers with the points. But for this, I'm taking a money line.
Okay. My teams are the Saints. My Saints, they looked really good.
Your Saints.
They are my Saints.
They are your
That's
Saints,
my NFC team. And the Bears too, but hopefully we'll see. I got the Browns. My best bet is -2.5 Browns. Also, Colts, Texans under. I really like that. Also, I got the Broncos. I know you mess with the Commanders, but I think the Broncos bounce back this week. I got Green Bay as well, just like you did. I think -2.5 too is kind of a steal over there. I think Chicago. I think they'll be better. Kind of like the over in that game as well. And not Chicago. They play the Falcons. My fault. I have the Bucks -2.5. Green Bay's -1. I have the Bucks to beat the Bears. Those are my teams: Saints, Browns, Denver, Green Bay, Bucks. I was gonna do the Chiefs, but because both of them the Chiefs is kind of spooky, so I'm gonna take the Bucks. All right.
Absolutely. Those are your 5?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to touchdowns. I got Jahmyr Gibbs getting his first NFL touchdown against the Seahawks. I think they're going to use him a little bit more. I think they just wanted to get his feet wet. I understand the limited, action. I think they're going to start taking the leash off. I think he's going to go ham. I think he gets a touchdown. I don't know if it's going to be running. I don't know if it's going to be catching. He's pretty talented. We'll find out.
Right.
I'm going to go Jalen Waddle against the Patriots. I think if there's one thing that Bill Belichick is going to do, I'm not going to say he's going to figure out Tyreek Hill, but I think he's going to have a plan for Tyreek Hill, in which the Dolphins will easily see that. They'll pass to Waddle. Waddle will get a touchdown. I got A.J. Brown scoring against... Who the hell is my team playing? Okay, I got A.J. Brown scoring tonight against the Vikings. I think him not scoring last game, I always pick the next game for him to score. That's usually how it goes. I have really no logic behind that. But I got Justin Jefferson with a lot of logic against the Eagles because I think, the Eagles' defense is so good, but Justin Jefferson, he's just that good that I think Kirk Cousins will find a lot of air with Justin Jefferson, especially I think he'll break off for at least one touchdown. And I got Derrick Henry. I said he'd score 2 touchdowns, but in this game I only need 1. I got him with a touchdown against the Chargers. I think they're going to expose the Chargers even more. I didn't pick them to win, I didn't pick them to win in this game that we're playing, but I think they're going to wash the Chargers pretty handily, and I think it'll be on the back of Derrick Henry. Let's go. I need a touchdown.
Okay.
Those are my 6. Or 5. 1, 2, 3,
I-
4, 5. Fuck. All right, hold on. I gotta log in.
Need a bonus.
Bonus because, last week we all picked one person that was injured.
Travis Kelce, Christian Watson, both pretty
Yeah,
late
you know what?
scratches.
If Travis Kelce is playing, I'm going with Travis Kelce.
This
Because
guy's trying to hold one over for next week.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So my touchdown, I got Stephon Diggs again. I think the Raiders secondary is poop. I think Derrick Henry scores as well. The Bengals always play good against the Ravens, so I got Jamar getting in there. I got CMC. I think that game's not gonna be close. And I got Tony Pollard also as well to score. Don't think that game's gonna be close. And I think Debo gets in there as well. But I like Kelce. You stole Kelce from me.
No, you can use Kelce.
I think honestly, I'm gonna take instead of Debo, I'm gonna do Smith. I think Devontae scores tonight.
Okay.
I think Devontae scores tonight. Yeah, big Devontae game. You're up.
You got that was your 6?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I've got for the contest, I've got 6. I do want to say DeAndre Swift's going to score 1 as well. I don't have him on my list, but just want to remind everybody for betting purposes out there, feel free if you get this before the Thursday night game. That's almost a lock. I've got David Montgomery scoring, so I think Gibbs is going to have a great game. Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to increase his workload as the season progresses, but Montgomery's their touchdown machine. I think he's going to be this year's Jamal Williams. He's not going to get 17 of them, but he's going to end up with a good number of touchdowns for sure. Monroe St. Brown as well, so I'm targeting the Seahawks here. I got the Lions, 2 Lions players on here.
Wow.
I've got CMC versus the Rams. I think that's an easy one.
Yeah.
I'll take the low-hanging fruit. I've got Robert Woods versus Indianapolis. Again, Robert Woods is kind of their their real de facto number one receiver there, which I don't think we
Robert
were
Woods.
expecting there. Yep. And I've got Bijan versus Green Bay Packers. They had 3 rushing touchdowns last week against Panthers, so feel free to target Panthers on the ground, but I've got Bijan. I think he looked excellent. That move that he put on.
Both Jameer and Bijan should just be their those lead backs.
Yeah. It's not going to exactly happen. I called Algier. I love. I think Algier is way too good to just put him on the bench, relegate him to being a nobody. Right. He's going to get plenty of work, but I think Bijan's going to have explosive plays often. And against Green Bay, I like one to happen this week. My 6th, Dallas defense against the Jets.
I like that.
They're getting one on Zach Wilson and company. So you're not going to see me play defenses very often.
Fucking chances early.
Yeah.
Yep. So that should count double, but I'll just take it as a single.
I like that.
Absolutely. So there we go. That's another episode in the books, gents. You guys got anything else to say?
Go Browns, man.
Yeah.
Go
Fly
Browns.
Eagles fly, baby.
I think we're going to see a little bit more about this Tua versus Burrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Comparison.
Yeah.
That's going to be the episode title, Tua versus Burrow, with a question mark.
For both of you guys.
I
could care less because, but yeah.
Divisional matchups.
Yeah.
Divisional
That's what I
matchups.
care
Hell
about.
yeah,
Teams.
man. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, sell your soul. We got a lot of content coming. Get on the train or get the train ran on you. This was the Built Different podcast.
Pause again.
Tune in. Have a good day.
Get the train on you.